Hello everyone, my name is Jovin Jiwa Satrian, and today I'd like to talk about the problem with streaming services. In this presentation, I will talk about uh, 5 points. The first one is the definition of media streaming, and the second is the pros of media streaming. The third is the cons. 4 is why do people pirate? And 5 is the summaries of my presentations. The objective of this presentation is to give you information on the streaming media in today's era and the problems with it, and also the factor why people still pirate medias despite streaming medias existing today. Now let's start with the first point of my presentation. What is streaming media? What's the definition of it? Well, streaming media is the delivery of audio and video files from a server to a client over the internet or a cellular data network. So that means when you want to watch something or listen to something online, you don't have to download the entire file into your hard drive and then listen to it afterwards, but you can just choose the content, and the content will be transmitted to your computer, to your client, without before transmitting the entire file, it being transmitted in real time instead. You just need a very stable connection and a streaming service to do that. To simplify this, imagine media streaming as a buffet. You pay a fixed fee for a limited time. For a limited time, all you can eat experience and consume as much as you want or you can. Well, that's similar to streaming service, right? You pay a monthly or yearly subscription, and after that you can basically watch or listen to anything that the catalog serves. In this presentation, I will talk specifically on video streaming. Like everything else, streaming service has their pros and cons. In the pros, they have 4 points. I have 4 points. And the first one, they're convenient. You don't have to preserve a storage space where it's physical or digital. That means that you don't have to build another shelf for a physical media, or you don't have to buy another hard drive to download something. You can just click the content and play it without the file being downloaded into your hard drive. And the second point is there are no ads in mostly streaming services, so that's also the main selling point of streaming services. There are no interruption when watching a show. And the third one is there's a lot of variety of content in streaming services, more than cable TV or traditional television, because the nature of streaming services, that they are mostly not being regulated by the government. They have more creative liberties, thus creating more unique content than cables or analog TV. Now, there are four main reasons why people do not like streaming services. There are four cons with the service, and the first one is geo blocking. Now, before I go into this further, I want to tell you a story. So, back when I was in middle high school, I was an avid anime watcher, and the only method I knew to watch anime was through piracy website. And let's just say it was uncomfortable, because every link you click mostly redirects you to either an ad or a literal virus. So I thought, why didn't I go legally to watch movies legally? So the first streaming service I know was Crunchyroll. When I got to the site, I searched one of my most favorite anime shows, which is Initial D, but it wasn't exist when I click enter. When I search it, the results doesn't come up. Didn't came up. So I didn't know, because I thought maybe it's just not there. But when I searched where to watch Initial D on Google, well, Crunchyroll was there, and when I click it, it says the video isn't available in my region, Indonesia, my country. So yeah, that's when I first know about geo blocking in streaming. And the thing about geo blocking is that, despite paying full price for any service, you don't actually get every show available in the service. That means that, let's just say you live in Indonesia, you will get Indonesian catalog, and Indonesian catalog is different than, let's just say, United States catalog. They are two separate things because of licensing in shows, etc., etc. So to circumvent this, people use VPNs, virtual private networks, to access catalogs from a specific region or country. But the problem is that the good and safe VPNs are not cheap. So you will end up paying both VPNs and services, which is really, really expensive. The second problem of this service is that it is just too much platform to choose from. It became oversaturated, because we know Netflix is a successful business, and And because it is so successful, companies want to have a bite of that success and create their own service. And now there are actually more than 200 streaming services available around the world. Do we really need that much of a service? I mean, I could understand one or two or three, but 200 of them is just absurd amount. And this is a problem for many customers because let's just say if you want to watch two different shows from two different services, you will have to pay for both services just to watch both movies, right? Which doubles your bills. And the third problem, and perhaps the most fatal, is that you do not own anything. Streaming services are just a modernized movie rental service. If you know the store Blockbuster, yeah, that's that. But online modern. You do not own anything. There's no ownership. That may sound plausible at first because you subscribe to a service, right? Not a specific movie, but that means the service can remove any shows as they please. Like in 2022, when 81 titles were removed from HBO Max because of a merger that never happened. When those shows get deleted, they are gone forever. They are gone forever, and most of the time online shows never get any physical release, most of the time though. And the fourth problem is inconvenience in convenience. You see, in order to use streaming service, you need an active and stable internet connection and a client, right? Which for those who live in a place with unstable internet service, they will not have the same experience as those who have internet connection. So when they watch something, it will buffer a lot so frequently it may kills the mood. Now, why do people actually pirate shows or music? Well, because there are three factors of why people choose piracy. The first one, accessibility. Pirates put shows they rip to their websites, no matter which service they rip from. And this eliminates content exclusivity and the region locking aspect. The second factor is perhaps classic, the pricing. For many people, price is simply why they pirate stuff. Some people cannot afford, some people don't want to afford, and the lack of payment method variation also encourage people to pirate. And the last one is preservation. So regarding problem number 3, which is no ownership, pirates rip shows from streaming services to preserve those shows and either share them online or for their own use. It may sound like an excuse, but I think the tragedy of HBO Max has convinced the world to why preservation should matter. And in summary, despite the comfort of media streaming, piracy is still on the rise because of legal streaming services several problems like inaccessibility, oversaturation, internet dependency, and price. Now, before I close this presentation, I would like to read a quote from uh, one of the most influential person in gaming industry, and this quote is still relevant to what I present here. So, quote, in general, we think there is a fundamental misconception about piracy. And I quote, in general, we always think there is a fundamental misconception about piracy. Piracy is almost always a service problem and not a pricing problem. For example, if a pirate offers a product anywhere in the world, 24/7, purchasable from the convenience of your own personal computer, and the legal provider says the product is region locked, will come to your country 3 months later after the US release, and can only be purchased at the brick and mortar store, then the pirate's service is more valuable. Most DRM or digital rights management solutions diminish the value of the product by either directly restricting a customer's use or by creating uncertainty. That is a quote by Gabe Newell, the president of Valve Corporation. And that concludes my presentation today. I apologize if there's any imperfection in this presentation, and thank you for watching.